Welcome to day 3 of the Division II Baseball Championship in Cary, North Carolina. Today, we have our first elimination game of the tournament, Illinois-Springfield and Rollins. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Joe Castellano, along with Lincoln Rose. And Lincoln, you've got a team from Illinois-Springfield that normally has a really good offense, averaging over 10 runs a game, but they only scored 1 run in their first game against Point Loma and lost 8-1, while Rollins also couldn't really get their offense going, only 5 hits when they lost to Southern Arkansas on Saturday.
Yeah, this is where all of a sudden pitching starts to define things for you, and perhaps you can take advantage of an opponent's lack of depth perhaps in pitching, but it is a tough road moving forward for the rest of the week, but one of these two teams will be picking up their first win here in Cary.
On the mound for Rollins, senior right-hander Justin Allentoff, who is 7-5 with a 3.47 ERA. Transfer from the University of Florida, who didn't play last year, and he's been able to go deep into some games. He's got a couple of complete games this year, and he's been successful in his last couple of starts. A 5-hitter against Lee, and then in the Super Regional, 7 2/3 innings, 2 runs, and got the victory against Tampa, as Rollins was able to beat the Spartans and get here out of the South Region as the number 6 seed, facing the number 7 seed, Illinois-Springfield Prairie Stars, who are from the Midwest region. Here we go with Asher Brad leading off for Illinois-Springfield, hitting .378, 3 homers and 40 RBIs. Another beautiful day in Cary, North Carolina. We have had just amazing weather. It's 82 degrees at game time, and the humidity is not even that bad. First pitch to Brad. We're underway, and it's high for a ball, 1-0.
Brad scored the only run for UIS in that matchup against Point Loma 2 days ago. Went 1 for 5 with that run scored.
This is an Illinois-Springfield team that has a .339 batting average, 9th in the country, and averaging 10.3 runs a game coming into this tournament, tied for 5th in the nation. So they're looking to get back to themselves today. That's fouled back. 1 ball, 2 strikes here to Brad. Allentoff is a pitcher who had a rough patch in April, so Coach Sjogren rested him a lot before postseason. In fact, he only had 1 outing during a 1-month stretch. So he's pretty well rested overall coming into this start, which you don't see that a lot. A lot of these pitchers have been used up quite a bit, and you're going to need them to have, I think, a lot of endurance as you go through the tournament. Yeah. If you can last through this game, you want to make sure that you have a lot of depth and pitchers who are fresh.
Yeah, you need your starting pitcher if you're going to have a chance this week to go deep into this ball game.
That one's hit in the air to right field for Smith. And Parker Smith, with the sun in his eyes a little bit, makes the play, 1 out. The home plate umpire is Rick Cacciatore, Drew Eaton, the first base umpire, Josh Gottlieb at second, Adam Berg, the third base umpire. Now Brandon Bannon, the catcher, hitting .367, 10 homers, 54 RBIs. Bannon, who was the shortstop in the first game, now catching. Bobby Barnard was coming back from an injury, but not up to it for this game. At least it seems like Coach Ryan Copeland wanted to make sure he was 100% healthy, as he's been coming back from a broken hand, so he is not in there today. And Bannon is. Ground ball hit hard, base hit into left field.
Well, regardless of what position Bannon's playing, they love him in the lineup. First team all-region this year, first team all-conference. And came into this week hitting .366 and able to set the table here with 1 out.
Number 20, Zion Pettigrew.
Bannon can run 12 out of 13 on stolen bases, and most of the base runners for Illinois-Springfield, when they take off, they make it safely to second base. The percentage is high. Here's Zion Pettigrew, one of the best players in the country, hitting .423, and he takes a ball 1-0. 27 home runs and 93 RBIs for Pettigrew. He went 1 for 5 in the first game with a double. Got that closed stance up there. That's in there for a called strike, 1-1, as he faces Allentoff, who has a fastball, a cutter, and a changeup.
Zion, your GLVC Conference Player of the Year, as well as All-American this season. back-to-back Conference and Region Player of the Year.
In his last 10 games coming into this tournament, he was batting over 500 and had nailed 5 homers. He's not happy with that call right there, 1-2.
Pettigrew is a guy who was your third baseman, shifting to second base, filling the void when Bannon moved behind the plate, where he is again today.
There goes the runner. No, he's just checking his jump. Throw to first behind him, safe. As Bannon gets back, he slipped as he was about to try to steal second base, decided against it, and Heron fired one over there, almost picked him off.
Yeah, Heron threw a good strike down there, and Whitehead did everything he could to get this tag on him. But Bannon just back in time.
2-2 the count to Pettigrew, who previously played at Iowa and transferred. Throw over to first, not in time. Played at Iowa as a freshman. Coach Copeland had recruited him before, and Zion Pettigrew remembered what a good recruiting process it was. So when he wanted to transfer, he called Coach Copeland, said, you know, I want to play for you. And Coach Copeland said, you know what, I'll make room for you. And it's worked out really well for both Pettigrew and Illinois-Springfield.
Yeah, sometimes that offer isn't still there. But it worked out for UIS.
Pettigrew was set to go to South Alabama. So he was a D1 player, but putting up big numbers in Division II. Pretty good lead at first base for Bannon. There he goes again. 2-2 inside. Throw to second. Safe. So this time Bannon goes for real, and he gets his 13th stolen base of the season to get into scoring position.
Yeah, Heron never had a chance. A great jump by Bannon. And this pitch is not going to get home quickly enough.
How many catchers run like that?
Catchers who used to be second baseman.
Now Pettigrew has a full count.
He's the reverse Craig Biggio.
He's been able to play both positions, infield and catcher. Bannon, who's leading at second. Pettigrew trying to drive him in here. 3-2 pitch. Fouled back out of play. It remains 3-2. On deck is Austin Alderman. Sun is behind some clouds right now. We don't have any wind to affect anything. Outfield straight away. Alan Toth, the senior from Jupiter, Florida, stepping off the rubber. So you got both of these guys who were Division I players. I mentioned Alan Toth pitching at the University of Florida. Didn't get as much playing time as he would like. Didn't pitch at all last year, and here he is in the D2 championship on the mound in an elimination game. Full count to Pettigrew. Here's the pitch. Hit high in the air, playable in left field for Coleman. 2 down.
And that's one spot you didn't want to send that. Bannon has to stay right where he is at second. No chance to tag up.
So now it's up to Austin Alderman to try to deliver, hitting .356, 16 homers and 66 RBIs. Pettigrew just getting under that there. Alderman 2 for 4 in the first game. In Illinois-Springfield, they scored 1 run in that first game, and then they couldn't score the rest of the way against Point Loma in their first game on Saturday. They left 11 men on base. That's high for a ball, 1-0. They don't want to have that happen again. It's a team that has 109 homers, 7th in the country. One 1-0 to Alderman. The pitch, swing and a miss. 1-1. It's an Illinois-Springfield team that doesn't strike out a lot. Alderman, the cleanup hitter here, just trying to do some damage, trying to bring home Bannon, who singled and stole second.
And we'll see the winner of this game again on Wednesday, another 1:30 Eastern start time. Tomorrow's schedule identical to today's schedule, with an elimination game followed by a winner's bracket game.
2-1 now to Alderman. Allentoff deals, swing and a miss. Man, that pitch had a lot of movement on it. Looked like the cutter from Allentoff. 2-2 now. Yeah, later on tonight, 6 o'clock Eastern time, two teams that won on Saturday go at it. So they're not facing elimination, Southern Arkansas and Point Loma. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Allentoff is fired up as he gets out of the top of the first inning unscathed. No runs a hit, no errors, and a man left in scoring position. At the end of 1/2 inning, the score Illinois-Springfield 0, Rollins coming up.
Hey fans, you can now access the official NCAA digital game program on your mobile device, tablet.
Position in the top of the first. Now the Rollins Tars come to the plate under head coach John Sjogren, 40-16 on the season, coming out of the South region. And they will be facing senior right-hander Cameron Zunkel, 5-0, 1.40 ERA. Only his 6th start of the year, his 16th appearance. He has been a reliever most of his career, but he's done a good job as a starter this year. An opponent's only hitting 179 against him.
Those first 11 years here in Cary, the South region has won 6 of the 11 national championships. Rollins still has a chance to claim one of their own.
And here is Joey Rubin to lead it off for Rollins, hitting .279 with a home run and 20 RBIs. And look out, fastball high and tight, 1-0. Zunkel will throw a fastball that gets up from 90 to 94 miles an hour. He has a slider and a changeup. That's fouled back to the screen on a 90-mile-an-hour pitch, 1-1.
Again, Rubin, a freshman, followed by a couple of seniors in this lineup in the top third.
Yeah, it really says something about his maturity as a freshman to be a leadoff hitter. Because usually you have to be, savvy enough to be put into that spot. And Rubin, his uncle played in the major leagues, so he knows about this game. He smashes one in the left field. That's a base hit. His uncle, Chris Colabello, who played in the major leagues with the Twins and Blue Jays, would be proud of that swing.
Joey's already matched his one hit from contest against Southern Arkansas. A runner on, nobody out.
Good quick swing right there for Rubin, who has 11 steals in 13 attempts. We'll see if he thinks about running. As Chase Acuff comes up hitting .378, 2 homers and 25 RBIs for the Rollins Tars. There's a strike, 0-1.
Chase was 1 for 4 in that opener this weekend. He had a single in the first inning. Second straight game that Rollins has gotten Rubin on, and Acuff comes up. Rubin was stranded on third when that first inning came to a conclusion 2 days ago.
1-1 the count. Well, for Rollins, they had troubles just getting base runners on Saturday against Southern Arkansas when they lost 3-1. Only 5 hits off Jeremy Adorno. Both starting pitchers threw complete games in that one. 1-1 to Acuff. That's a 58-footer blocked by Bannon. That's a good job because that's not easy to block when the pitch is that far in front of home plate. Holds the runner to first. Rollins played in the first game of this tournament on Saturday. Short lead at first for Rubin. That's fouled at the plate. 2-2 the count. Zunkel has been fantastic his last 4 appearances, including the postseason. 15 1/3 innings, 1 earned run, a 0.59 ERA of late for Zunkel. The senior from Lombard, Illinois. That's a very short lead at first base for Rubin. 2-2 to Acuff. Fouled out of play right side. It remains 2-2. That's a very conservative lead. I mean, there's no way he'll get picked off, Rubin, with that short of a lead being held over there by Youngquist at first base.
Freshmen trusting the seniors will be able to move him around.
I mean, I think he could get a little more of a lead right there. You're the leadoff guy, and you can steal a little bit. And there's the throw, and he takes about a step and a half, and he gets back to the bag.
Yeah, you don't want to have to get the uniform dirty this early in the ball game.
Well, you also don't want to get picked off. I mean, it's definitely embarrassing. We've seen some poor base running in this tournament, and you feel so bad for the player when he makes a mistake like that. It is tough, I think, to steal on Zunkel anyway, 3-2 the count, because he has a slide step delivery. He's very quick to the plate. I mean, you wonder if Ruben might be going here on 3-2 with nobody out. Acuff at the plate, number 2 hitter. Ruben does go. Popped up foul behind the plate, out of play. Remains 3-2. Gets back to what I was talking about yesterday. Sometimes a base runner feels more comfortable with a short lead where he's not leaning back towards first base, and he can really feel like he can get momentum towards second when he's not worried about getting picked off, and that could be the philosophy for Ruben. There he goes, 3-2, ground ball, base hit center field. Ruben around second, headed for third. Brad throwing in, had it stuck in his glove, and it's first and third with nobody out for Rollins.
Acuff able to shoot one right up the middle through a gap. Meanwhile, Ruben, good recognition as he rounds second, that he's got another 90 feet ahead of him. And Chase Acuff, just like he started off in that first inning against Southern Arkansas, 1-for-1 with a single, joining Ruben on the base paths.
Now with the second baseman covering there, he didn't have a chance to field that grounder. The shortstop had been covering, then might have had to play. Here's Adams Torres. Fouled it back, 0-1, hitting 300, 7 homers, 48 RBIs this season.
All right, you've got a runner 90 feet away with all 3 outs to work with. Rollins absolutely has to come away with a lead here before the end of the first inning.
Well, he's got to be thinking about hitting a fly ball to the outfield. 1-1 to Torres. Zunkel, so much experience, been around the program forever, it seems, as he is a 6th-year senior for Illinois-Springfield. Deals to Torres with a runner going from first. Fly ball right field. Alderman in the corner, stumbles a bit, catches it. Run will score from third on the sac fly by Torres. 1-0 Rollins.
Well, Alderman records the out. Obviously, with his momentum carrying him towards foul territory, no chance to get Adams Torres. Probably was not going to have a chance anyways.
Nice sombrero.
Joe, that explains where your hat went.
And it looked like just a change of direction out there, not a stumble for Alderman. He had a little trouble lining that up, but he wasn't going to have a play anyway. And here is Jesslyn Whitehead hitting .341, no homers, 37 RBIs. Runner at first, 1 out. So Rollins already has equaled what they did on offense in the first game with a run on the board.
It was Jesslyn's brother who went the complete game.
Yeah, pitched well, but ended up taking the loss. Checks his swing, fouls it back. 0-1 to Jesslyn Whitehead.
Jalen went those 8 innings for the complete game, but lost. 3 runs allowed, all earned. Struck out 8 of the 30 batters he faced.
Now, Jalen, the pitcher, is the older brother. He's a grad student. Jesslyn at the plate here is a sophomore. 0-1 to Jesslyn Whitehead is outside. 1-1. Jesslyn from Orlando, Florida. Came over from the College of Central Florida to Rollins. Quite a few transfers on this Rollins team for John Sjogren. In his 17th season as the head coach, by the way. Over 400 wins at Rollins. There goes the runner, and it's fouled on the right side. 1-2. One constant, it seems like, in this tournament, a theme, has been most of the teams will run quite a bit. We've seen some stolen bases. We saw Angelo State steal 6 in a game yesterday.
Overall, aggressive play pays off.
Puts pressure on the defense.
We've seen some defenses fail to make routine outs when enough pressure was applied on the base paths.
You stay out of double plays. Acuff leading at first base, short lead, being held by Youngquist, and now time called. Acuff has 14 steals and 17 attempts. Pretty big gap in left center for Whitehead as the center fielder Brad plays towards right center. Middle infielders cheat towards second a little bit. Ground ball right side, base hit. Acuff gets the second and holds as Alderman plays it in. That's 3 hits already for Rollins. They only had 5 hits in the first game Saturday.
Ideal start for the Tars, a rough start for the Prairie Stars.
Hitter, number 16, Nick Santucci.
UIS can still get out of this inning with only 1 run having come home.
Nick Santucci climbs in, the DH, hitting .271, 14 homers, 44 RBIs. He had 2 of the 5 hits on Saturday for Rollins.
Yeah, Santucci went 2 for 4 with a run scored. Whitehead just picked up his first hit of the week.
I think I could have guessed that Santucci is coming from Florida because he's wearing long sleeves. I mean, I know it's not 95 degrees, but it's still pretty warm out there. He's got the long sleeves going. Maybe he thinks this is cool weather in the mid-80s. Called strike on the inside corner, 0-1.
Well, and of course, Rollins is located in Winter Park, Florida.
Well, Santucci is from Franklin, Massachusetts. I mean, I would think right now that his friends are saying, what are you doing wearing long sleeves in 85-degree weather? It's low and away because, I mean, generally, if it's 40 degrees in Massachusetts, they're walking around wearing shorts.
Yeah, it's just good skin protection. Our buddy Tut would approve. See if he can run center field camera.
Our former center field cameraman getting a lot of mentions. Acuff at second, Whitehead at first, 1 out, Bluff to second. And by the way, John Sjogren, the head coach at Rollins, previously spent 15 years as the head coach at Bryant University in the Northeast, so he gets some recruits, still has contacts to get a player like Santucci from Massachusetts to come down to Florida.
Well, he played there. He was in the Hall of Fame there, came back to coach there.
That's fouled back out of play, 1-2.
Probably needs somebody to talk to just to avoid getting homesick.
And for Coach Sjogren, his Bulldogs at Bryant University actually beat Rollins in the 2004 Division II championship. That's the year, the last year that Rollins made it to the D2 championship. This is their 3rd trip. They also made it in 1989. 2 on, 1 out, 1-2, high, 2-2 now to Santucci.
We're going to have to explain to most of our crew what 1989 was.
Rollins trying to equal their school record today for wins. They're 40-16. The most wins they ever had, 41. Runner at second, Acuff. Runner at first, Whitehead. 2-2 to Santucci. Foul back to the screen. It remains 2-2.
So 3 singles and a sacrifice fly, 4 productive at-bats so far. 1 run to show for it. Joey Rubin, we mentioned, was stranded on third in the first back on Saturday. Not this time. Able to come home on the sac fly from Torres. They're looking for a bigger inning.
23 pitches already in this inning for Zunkel. Santucci takes strike 3 called. Painted the inside corner. Zunkel gets his first strikeout, 2 down.
It's a big pitch from Cameron Zunkel, getting that second out. And all of a sudden now you can dial in on the next hitter.
Well, that's a good 2-seam fastball that came in there and just caught the corner. Looked like it was going to be a ball inside. Here's Cameron Meehan hitting .293. Lines one towards the shortstop, caught by a leaping Meyerhofer. That ends the inning. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors, 2 left. At the end of 1, Rollins 1, Illinois-Springfield nothing at the Division II Baseball Championship. Every pitch, every inning, everything matters so much at the D2 Championship, and now Allentoff has a 1-0 lead as he takes the mound in the second.
Yeah, 20-pitch first inning. See if he can trim that down here in the second. Faced one more than the minimum, stranding Bannon on second after Bannon had stolen second base following his single. But his next 2 teammates could not move him around.
And that's been the frustration for Illinois-Springfield. I mentioned earlier they left 11 on base in their first game. You have the feeling that at some point they will break out offensively because this team can hit. And this team can win. They were 28-3 since April the 1st coming into this tournament. Then they lose on Saturday. Here's Cal Youngquist hitting .343, 13 homers, 72 RBIs. And he takes a strike at the letters, 0-1.
Yeah, Cal last year was an All-American as primarily a DH for this team. Well, they lost off of last year's team and all-conference first baseman, so Youngquist moves over to that defensive role.
Fouls it back, 0-2.
Maintains his numbers, batting in the 5 spot.
Well, he's hit 5 home runs in the postseason. And he is a career .374 hitter. Allentoff deals. Upstairs, 1-2. Youngquist followed by Vanneman and DeConcilis.
Cal, one of 3 Prairie Stars who had multiple hits back on Saturday.
Fouled back.
As you've already noted, the problem is they left 11 on base.
Yeah. He's the only left-handed batter in this lineup. One-two on the way, high and away, 2-2. This is a Rollins pitching staff that's had a really good season. Their team ERA is 3.29, 3rd in the country. They have the 5th best whip, walks and hits per innings pitched. 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him to go after a pitch that looked like it was a ball inside, but Youngquist strikes out. That's 2 Ks in a row for Allentoff.
Yeah, big one to get out of the first inning.
The left fielder, number 23, Brent Vanneman.
That's a big out in Youngquist to keep off the base paths.
Now Brant Vanneman hitting .322, 16 homers, 67 RBIs for the Prairie Stars. We're led by Ryan Copeland in his 3rd season as the head coach. Got 95 wins so far. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Copeland previously was the pitching coach for the Prairie Stars, a former pitcher at Illinois State. Look out, we got a pitch coming in with time called. Wow, that was scary. I mean, Vanneman's going, what in the world is going on? Allentoff didn't get the memo. Wow. That could be dangerous. The 0-1. Hit in the air right field. Smith drifting back. 2 down. You don't see that very often. Usually a pitcher gets clued in about timeout.
This was that play.
I mean, this is really scary if you're a hitter.
Number 3, Anthony
Well,
DeConcilis.
you understand what Allentoff's saying. Batter's in the box. There's no indication of time.
Yeah, he didn't see the umpire raising his arms before.
Well, the
that
arms
point.
were not
They
raised until the...
Right. He didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Here's DeConcilis. Anthony DeConcilis hitting .367, 3 homers, 25 RBIs. Yeah, I mean, he felt like it was an opportunity to get a free strike.
Often you'll see an umpire actually step away just so that there's that visual.
Right. And, I mean, the look from Vanneman was, what in the world are you doing? 1-0 in favor of Rollins. We're in the second inning, our first elimination game of the tournament. Pitch to DeConcilis, hit to straightaway center and playable for Meehan. And that does it for the Prairie Stars. In the second, they go down 1, 2, 3, and it's 5 in a row retired by Allentoff. Middle of the second, 1-0 Rollins.
They didn't even realize there was going to be baseball going on. They just looked up online, a good place to eat, happened to be here.
Right.
Looked up, oh, there's...
Their Google search showed that they could eat here.
There's a game.
Bottom three in the order coming up for the Tars. Ryan Coleman leading off, followed by Parker Smith and Jared Herron.
Outdoor dining.
Yeah, plenty of sunshine. Coleman hitting .269, 5 homers, 25 RBIs. Rips one on the ground. That was hit hard. Youngquist handles it and takes it to the bag himself. 3 unassisted. 1 pitch, 1 away for Zunkel.
It's a good return on the investment from Cameron Zunkel after he just saw his counterpart, Allentoff, face the minimum in the second.
Right fielder, number 28, Parker Smith.
Well, after throwing 24 pitches in the first inning, that's a welcome relief to get an out with 1 pitch for Zunkel. Smith hitting .290, 11 homers, 37 RBIs. 1-0 the count. Zunkel, who had to battle with Crohn's disease in his career and getting on the mound here today. Pop up, he doesn't see it. It's in the outfield. And in center field, the shortstop, Meyerhofer, under it to make the catch. I mean, looking at Zunkel, he was wondering if that was popped up near the mound.
I love
but it
that.
wasn't anywhere close.
Zunkel's in front of the mound wondering why when he looks up he can't see the ball. Well, it's because it's about 40 feet behind him.
Just lost it.
And boy, is he thankful that it was.
Number 24, Jared Herron.
Here's the number 9 man, Jared Herron, the catcher. Look at the pitcher, Zunkel. Where is it? Where is it? It's out there.
Yeah.
But that's how tough the sun is when you look up in the sky right now. Herron hitting .299, 5 homers, 13 RBIs, gets ahead 1-0.
Jared 0 for 3 against Southern Arkansas back on Saturday. Saw his average dip to .291.
He hits one in the air, in the gap in right center, and that's going to be extra bases. Cut off out there by Brad. Heading to second is Herron, in there with a stand-up double.
Love to see your 9-hitter come through, as Jared Herron has now helped Rollins get back to the top of the order with a runner in scoring position. Makes up for lost time with his first hit of the week.
Sixth double of the season for Herron. And now the top of the order, and Joey Rubin, who has scored the only run of the game, led off with a single, later scored on a sac fly by Adams Torres. So Rubin, the freshman third baseman, trying to come through here. Grounds one, left side, diving stop by the shortstop. Meyerhofer throws to third, not in time, but he may have saved a run because that ball didn't get into the outfield. It'll be an infield single for Rubin, who is 2 for 2.
Yeah, great job by Nick Meyerhofer over there at short. Not sure if they would have tested the arm of Brent Vanneman had he been able to come up with that ball cleanly and left, but this way you know everybody's staying put on the corners.
Well, it looked like they wanted to test it because there was the wave home. But, you know, that's a good decision, too, by Meyerhofer. Really, that's the only play he possibly could have had was to try to get that runner at third. Runners at the corners, 2 outs. Here is Chase Acuff, who singled to center field in the first inning. Trying to put another run on the board for the Tars. And that misses for a ball, 1-0 to Acuff.
Acuff, the grad student, now to St. Pete.
He's the shortstop for the Tars. Pitch to Acuff. Look out. Did that hit him? Yes, it did. Hit by the pitch to load the bases.
All of this with 2 outs. The double, the single, the hit batter. After a quick ground out and pop out.
Some guys just have a knack for getting hit by pitches. 14th hit by pitch this year for Acuff. That is the most on this Rollins team. See, like he knows how to make it look like he's trying to get out of the way. It's not going to hurt him, yet it kind of hits his jersey, right? Here's Torres with the bases loaded, takes in the dirt, 1-0.
Torres had that sacrifice fly that has scored the only run so far last inning.
Only the third hit batsman for Zunkel all year. Herron at third, Rubin at second, Acuff at first with 2 down. Torres takes called strike, 1-1. That RBI you mentioned, 49th of the year for Torres to put them on the board. He can really open things up here with a base hit. He hits one in the gap. Got some good speed on the bases. Second and first, something in the gap, they could score. That's hit weakly towards shortstop for Meyerhofer, throws to second, gets the force, and the inning is over. So a golden opportunity for the Tars, and they come up empty. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. The bases left loaded. They've left 5. The end of 2, it's 1-0. Rollins leading Illinois-Springfield.
No runs on 2 hits.
Stars. Lincoln Rose, Joe Castellano back with you day 3 here on NCAA.com with the Division II Baseball Championship. We arrived with 8 teams still in the hunt for a national championship. And, Joe, I feel like we really haven't accomplished much. We still have 8 teams. After this game, we'll be down to 7.
Yeah, we know that either Rollins is going to be headed 600 miles south to go back home, or Illinois-Springfield is going to go 826 miles west to go home. You know how I know that? Because they have a sign out in front of the ballpark that has how many miles it is to each school.
Yeah, they have a guy walk that off.
I mean, 826, they're being exact on this thing.
That's without toll roads and ferries, I'm told.
Point Loma, 2,539 miles away, but they're not facing elimination yet.
Here's Hunter Phelps coming up for the first time today for UIS against Alan Toff. Alan Toff has faced 1 more than the minimum through 2. That was the single from Brandon Bannon, who's back to catching today. Phelps, your DH. Out of Oakwood, Illinois, the senior. Again, for UIS, basically the same roster they've had for the past 3 years. 19 seniors on this year's squad, many of whom using that extra year that the NCAA gave them. And the question is whether they could play some of their best baseball in May and now June. Rollins on Saturday suited up for its first ever baseball game in June. As Phelps digs back in for the 2-2 offering from Justin Allentoff. Got him. That's now 6 straight retired, including 3 strikeouts by Allentoff. 1 away.
Yeah, he looks pretty locked in right now for Rollins.
The shortstop, number 2, pick Meyerhofer.
So the final batter in this starting 9 to face Allentoff is Meyerhofer. Made a nice stop defensively at shortstop. Now he's going to hit one to his counterpart. A little slow out of the batter's box. And Acuff able to whip it over to Whitehead in plenty of time, 2 away.
Well, Acuff is a shortstop that really does a good job. In fact, Coach John Sjogren told us that he's the best shortstop that he's ever coached. And Coach Sjogren has been around for over 30 years. And this is just a routine play. But even a routine play like that, you can see the skill level as he can throw accurately on the run with good velocity.
Yeah, John Sjogren nearing 800 victories as a head coach. Back to the top of the order, Asher Brad. Began this ball game with a fly out to right, 0 for 1 today. Brad now 1 for 6 at the plate this week. Again, Illinois-Springfield and Point Loma. Fairly tight ball game until Point Loma blew it open in the 8th. It was a 4-1 contest for much of that affair. 3-1 was the final between Southern Arkansas and Rollins. Again, both of their All-American pitchers went the distance. As the bullpen fresh. The 1-2 to Brad. Not tempting.
So when Allentoff throws high heat, is that an ode to Christopher Mad Dog Russo, who's on MLB Network and, of course, on the radio, because he went to Rollins, one of the many famous alums that we've talked about.
Foul territory. Just gets out of play.
That's the name of his show on MLB Network, High Heat. Yeah, they've got some interesting alumni. Anthony Perkins, the actor from Psycho. Pete Dye, famous golf architect. And then some actors. Buddy Epson from the Beverly Hillbillies.
The 2-2 to Brad. Count goes full.
Not to mention Fred Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood went to Rollins.
So in Psycho, they used chocolate syrup for blood, black and white movie. When they found oil in the ground on the Beverly Hillbillies, you think that was chocolate syrup as well?
Might have been.
Do we have a team here from Hershey, Pennsylvania?
No, but we do have a team from Point Loma that's not far from Beverly Hills, sort of, a couple hours away. Swimming pools, movie stars.
Payoff pitch with 2 outs. Brad trying to extend this inning. After a strikeout of Phelps and Meyerhofer grounding out, Allentoff looked like he was going to have a easy go of it here in the 3rd inning, but Asher Brad has had other ideas.
Yeah, this is like a really good leadoff hitter should do, just fouling balls off, staying alive.
First team all-conference, all-region as well this year. Chases that one. 4 strikeouts for Allentoff. And for a 2nd straight inning, faces the minimum. 8, 9, and top spot of the order go 1, 2, 3. As the Prairie Stars still trailing by 1.
A 1, 2, 3.
Play of defense today. Meyerhofer and Akoff, they can definitely play the position. And again, I mean, it's not the toughest play, but they both make it so smooth, so easy, the way they can gun it over to first on the run.
Reminds me of our guy Craig operating the replay machine.
Oh, man.
Silky.
Craig the Traveler. Man's putting on the miles on his car.
Nick Santucci at the plate, struck out against Zunkel back in the 1st. He's in high demand.
What I want to know is, did he have air conditioning on, or did he just have the windows open? Was he wearing long sleeves like Santucci?
I heard he set it to high heat just to get in the mood.
I did not even bring long sleeves to the Raleigh, Durham, Cary, North Carolina area.
Yeah, I noticed you just wrapped some shirts around your arms.
Long sleeves. I mean, sometimes players just want to sweat. Yeah, they just feel better like that. Maybe that's the case for Santucci.
The 1-1 from Zunkel. And Santucci could not lay off.
He's even got some kind of a, what is that exactly around his neck?
It's a kerchief.
Yeah, I mean, that keeps you warm too. Just in case it gets chilly later.
Take a break from the Joe Castellano style guide. The 1-2.
Well, there's more. How about the right pant leg? You see the sock showing, but the left pant leg, no sock showing. That's a statement. That is a statement right there.
It's not the sock.
Oh, it's not a sock.
No.
Wait, that's a brace or something.
Up the middle, and Cameron Zunkel had an instinct that his coach probably would like him to get rid of, and that was kicking out his foot trying to knock down that ball. And he is lucky he was not successful.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to be the hockey goaltender because all that can happen is that you'll get hurt. And he did try to do that. Didn't get a piece of it. And even though it was hit slowly, it was hit in the right spot for Santucci.
So infield single for Nick Santucci. Here's Cameron Meehan, who lined out to the shortstop to end that 1st inning. After Rollins had plated 1 run but stranded 2 of the now 5 runners left on base. And Santucci makes it 3 straight innings that Rollins has found at least 1 hit.
I wonder if Santucci has an ankle issue. Maybe that's an ankle brace that I was talking about was a sock fashion statement. Instead, I mean, he might have a wrap around that ankle.
This a blast towards left. It'll carry. It is gone. Cameron Meehan steps up to the plate and grows the lead for the Tars. Now 3-0 here in the third. 12th home run trot for the senior out of Orlando. And he improves the odds that Rollins will be playing baseball again this week.
The exit velocity on that home run, 104 miles per hour. The distance, 380 feet.
Well, let's take a look because I think this was just a bad location pitch for Zunkel. As he left it up, yeah, that's right in the wheelhouse. And Zunkel knew it. I mean, as he turned around, he knew that that was going to be a home run. He's not happy with himself for the location of the pitch. It's right there for a power hitter. That was room service.
For Cameron Zunkel, right back to work. And first pitch off the mark to Ryan Coleman. Bottom third of the order now coming up. Coleman 0 for 1 today, grounded out to Youngquist at first, and he's going to do it again. A little deja vu. This time Youngquist shares. A little toss to reward the pitcher for making the run. Zunkel 2 away.
That was the first home run allowed this season by Zunkel. Now, he hasn't pitched all that many innings, coming in 38 2/3 innings. But still, he had not allowed a home run all year, but he knew it when he let go of that pitch that it was not in the right spot.
Well, and again, just a reminder, that ball was crushed but barely got out. This is not a home run-friendly ballpark. That doesn't mean we don't see a handful each year. We've already seen several.
We saw back-to-back yesterday on 2 straight pitches.
You have to really groove one.
You also have to hope the wind isn't blowing in. And we had some wind blowing in from right yesterday, but we don't have any wind today. We do have construction past the left field wall. Those guys had a good look at that home run. Did they stop what they were doing on their construction to watch that?
There's a fence preventing them from sprinting for that ball and returning it for an ice cream sandwich.
Did the guy stop digging the dirt when the ball was in the air to watch? Or was he still moving dirt? They're busy out there.
Why do you think they have hard hats on? Fifth batter of this inning, Parker Smith. And popped out to the shortstop last inning.
They're going to put the Team USA offices out there past the left field wall. That's why they have the construction going on.
They're going to have an indoor facility and some offices over there. Already a fantastic venue is going to get it even better. And we have 3 fields identical to this one fanned out behind us. The 2-2 from Cameron Zunkel. We've already seen one of those before. Last time it went for a base hit yesterday, but check swing. Tracked down from Zunkel. A couple batters prior, Cameron Meehan came up with 1 out and 1 on. And Cameron Meehan brings home Nick Santucci and himself as Rollins grows its lead, 3-0. Fans making their way out from Springfield, Illinois, hoping to cheer on the Prairie Stars to a 49th win, already a record for the program, 48 wins this year, but right now just 1 hit on the day. As they'll try to go back to work here, that lone base hit came back in the first inning. Since then, 3 up, 3 down affairs in the second and third for Allentoff, whose lead has now grown. You just wish you saw a little more emotion from Justin Allentoff.
Well, he was pumped up after the first strikeout to get out of the inning in the first inning, and he has not allowed a base runner since that single in the first, and that's the only base runner he's allowed so far.
Here's Brandon Bannon, who had that base hit. Brandon Bannon looking for his second. That one's going to get caught up and drop into the glove of Ryan Coleman. So that is now 9 straight retired by Allentoff.
The second baseman, Zion Pettigrew.
He got under that a lot, so there was no chance for it to carry out.
Again, Pettigrew, the All-American and Conference Player of the Year out of Chicago. Ultimately flied out to left back in the first inning. And Prairie Stars down to the Great Lakes Valley Conference, the GLVC. Got past Quincy in 3 games in the Super Regionals. Not a lot of teams had an easy path in those Supers. We could have easily seen a completely different field of 8 quality programs here this week. As Pettigrew out to Smith, 2 away.
It always helps when you host, you would think.
Yeah, they got to host the Super Regional after going to Detroit for the regional.
They beat Quincy in the Super Regional, and that's a team that we've seen in the D2 Championship before.
We have, and UIS has seen a lot of Quincy in recent years, including in their own conference tournament when they beat the Hawks to win that automatic bid to the NCAA postseason. This will die down in front of Smith for a 2-out base hit for Austin Alderman.
And that's snaps 10 in a row retired by Allentoff.
A second hit of the ball game now. He comes with 2 outs.
I mean, this is an Illinois-Springfield team that had been playing so well. As you see that ball knocked into right. Not hit hard, but in the right spot. They were 9-1 in the postseason coming in to play here, and they had outscored their opponents 103 to 53 in the postseason.
Picked up their 10th loss of the year back on Saturday. 4 of those 10 losses all to Quincy. But we mentioned they got the last laugh both in the conference tournament and in the NCAA Super Regional. Cal Youngquist led off the second inning with a strikeout. See what he can do here with 2 outs and a runner on first. Launched out towards right, but Smith underneath it at the warning track. There's your 3rd out. So Prairie Stars get their second hit of the day, strand their second base runner of the ball game. It's our first elimination baseball game this week in Cary, North Carolina. Right now, Rollins up by 3. Quinn Goditis becomes the second pitcher used today by UIS as we head into the home half of the 4th inning. For Quinn, 17th appearance on the year, 8-3 record this season with a 4.62 ERA. Opposing hitters batting .256. Through 62 innings so far, 96 strikeouts. Hasn't made that many relief appearances. Most of his work coming as a starter this year. They're hoping for some long relief that will buy their bats some time to get back in this one.
And Goditis, you mentioned the K's, 13.8 strikeouts per 9 innings, 6th in the country. And he is a pro prospect. The scouts have been looking at him. He throws his fastball 93 to 96 miles an hour, and he has a slider.
He started at Division III Illinois Wesleyan with those Titans. Arlington Heights native in Illinois. As he faces Jared Herron, who doubled back in the second inning. Was one of a couple of runners left stranded. Rollins has stranded 5. None last inning stranded thanks to the 2-run home run from Cameron Meehan. And again, it is another beautiful day here in Cary, North Carolina for some baseball. Heck, maybe 2 games. The 1-1. Not a bad seat in the house. You don't even need to find a spot in the shade right now. Temperatures can be just in the 80s for the high temperatures. Two-1 from Goditis. Quinn's second team all-conference this year. And first year that UIS wins the GLVC conference tournament. They had 3 regular season titles, but of course that tournament's what gives you the automatic bid to the postseason.
That is a sweeping slider right there.
As the count goes full. So Cameron Zunkel goes 3 innings, allowing 3 runs on 7 hits. Goditis comes in here to start the 4th. And it's a leadoff walk to Heron, the 9-hitter, who runs the bases now for a 2nd time today. He was left stranded on 3rd with bases loaded back in the 2nd. See what Joey Rubin can do today. 2 for 2 is Rubin with a run scored, a couple of singles. Mentioned just a freshman. What's great about this time of year, you're no longer juggling your course load as well as baseball. Got all those final exams behind you. Graduations behind you for the seniors.
Goditis is a senior.
Rubin singled and scored in the 1st. For singling again the next inning. Seeing his 2nd pitch of the day here in the 4th inning. The count 0-2. You noted Rubin out of Charlton, Massachusetts. One on, nobody out. Count 1-2. After the leadoff walk to Jared Heron a moment ago. Top of the order here for the Tars, who last year had 9 wins. Today they seek their 41st in 2022. Punch the right side, a double play. Cal Youngquist squeezes it in and applies the tag to the bag. 2 away.
Well, that is always helpful for a pitcher when the ball's hit right at an infielder like that. And then he can make the catch and just a simple double play. And you can't even blame the base runner, Heron,
no,
because he had no chance to get back.
So just like that, nobody on, 2 outs. And here's Chase Acuff, who has singled and been hit by a pitch today, but stranded on the base paths both times. And a rope towards left, but Vanneman is there. And all of a sudden, Goditis and his defense got settled in. The reliever faces the minimum thanks to a double play. And the Prairie Stars still within striking distance, moving on to the top of the 5th inning.
Here in game number 5. Hey, fans.
Joe, when you and I arrive at the ballpark, there are very few questions left unanswered. As right down to how far it is to each campus. Of course, North Greenville, just across the state border, in South Carolina, Point Loma on the opposite coast. And as you have noted, these 2 teams, Rollins down in Winter Park, Florida, UIS in Springfield, Illinois. Just one starting pitcher left in this ball game, Justin Allentoff. And again, he will hope to be able to eat up the bulk of the innings today and find a victory, as that would leave Rollins really sitting in a great spot through the elimination bracket with the bulk of its pitching unused.
Well, Allentoff, in his last outing, went into the 8th inning in the Super Regional against Tampa, was able to beat them 7 2/3 innings, 2 runs, and he's pitched so well so far today.
Here's Brant Vanneman. recorded that final out last inning. Faces Allentoff for a second time as this lineup just now coming through on a second occasion against the starting pitcher for Rollins. And that one gets away from Acuff. Took his eyes off of it. And a base runner's on to begin the fifth inning. An error on the short stump.
Boy, there's a guy who is so sure-handed, but makes a mistake there in Acuff. Maybe that play was too easy.
Third baseman Anthony DeConcilis.
I think just took his eye off it at the last second.
Yeah, I think he wanted to get ready to throw it before he had it.
So base runner on. Here's Anthony DeConcilis. Flied out to center to end the second inning. So third time UIS has had a base runner. A couple of singles and now the error. They've only once had a runner in scoring position today. Obviously that's going to have to change. Big cut from DeConcilis. Count evens up 1-1. DeConcilis out of Bloomingdale, Illinois, started his career at Triton College and stepped into this lineup really at the end of the year at third base when the dominoes started to fall with a injury to the catcher, Bobby Barnard. We saw Bobby on Saturday go 0 for 3 in his return.
Oh.
And almost a cheap out, but Heron went one way and the ball went the other.
Yeah, I think he guessed that the ball was going to be to his left. Instead, it was behind him. And if he had broken back right away, which is not the easiest thing to know exactly where it's going to go, but if he had, he might have had a play at that. I mean, that's a terrible bunt. And just some time wasted there by Heron. Otherwise, maybe he would have had a chance.
Would have been a tough task. Vandeman, your runner on first. A 1-2 count here to Anthony DeConcilis. Prairie Stars exited last year in their regional against a familiar foe in Quincy. Right side, chance for two. Torres to Acuff, atones for the error by wiping Vandeman off the base paths. 2 away.
And that right there is the 57th double play turned by the Rollins defense this season. They came in tied for first in the nation in double plays. That was tailor-made right there. But it takes a good arm for the shortstop, Acuff, to get that runner right there, DeConcilis, to finish off the double play. And Allentoff now can just dial in on the DH Phelps. We struck out the last time, not this time. First pitch that Hunter Phelps sees. It's a 2-out base hit into center. Third hit of the ball game for the Prairie Stars. Last 2 hits have come, though, with 2 outs. They're going to need to be able to string some together here as Meyerhofer comes up. Coming into this tournament, the teams that are here, you had Angelo State, Southern Arkansas, and Illinois-Springfield that had the top offenses, teams that can really score on you and averaging over 10 runs a game. But that has not come to fruition here for Illinois-Springfield so far in this tournament. They only have 1 run scored so far in their first 13-plus innings.
That run, as this one poked into right, back-to-back 2-out base hits. Illinois-Springfield scored in their very first inning. In fact, Asher Brad, their leadoff hitter, would score that inning, and they would never find another run on Saturday.
Yeah, they've gone 12 innings without scoring.
But
good piece of hitting.
Promising here, top of the order, and here is Asher Brad as Meyerhofer with that 2-out base hit. So runners on second and first. You wonder what things could have been like without that double play ball. As Alan Toff, your only starting pitcher left in this ball game. Left side, just need one. They will get none. Bases loaded. 3 straight singles, including an infield base hit from Asher Brad with 2 outs.
That was close. That's one that you wonder if it could get challenged. Really close, at least to the naked eye live. Let's see what happened here.
Nothing better could have been done here. That's all you could hope for from Acuff.
And you can't tell from that one.
I mean, that ball just was not in a hurry to get to the shortstop.
Let's have another look. Yeah, he's safe. Good call by the first base umpire, Drew Eaton.
So this is how the innings unfolded so far. Vanneman reached on the shortstop's error. Deacon Sealis into the double play. Singles from Phelps and Meyerhofer, and in the infield base hit from Asher Brad to join them.
Another possible 2-out rally. We've seen quite a few of those in this tournament.
Well, here's Brandon Bannon, who had the only hit before this inning for UIS. Now one of the 4. Alan Toff still just needs 1 out to get out of this inning. He thought he might have had it a moment ago with a ground ball in the infield, but it just took too long to get to the shortstop, and Acuff didn't have a chance. Tying run is over there on first.
And if he hits a gapper here with 2 down, Brad could have a chance to score from first base.
.54 RBI for Bannon this year. Count 2-1. Any wild pitch or pass ball likely puts the Prairie Stars on the board. Two spot in the lineup, Brandon Bannon. 3-1. Could there be an RBI walk here with 2 outs? Bannon's the 4th straight man to come up with 2 retired. That 3rd out has yet to rear its head. And Bannon's going to have to stick around for 1 more pitch.
Now the runners have that advantage where they're going on the pitch.
Phelps on third, Meyerhofer on second, Brad on first. Base is loaded with 2 outs. They're going. Whip down the third baseline, but just foul.
Wow, that was close. Adam Berg making the call. That was really close.
He is right on that line behind the bag and no hesitation.
Man, that was a key call in this game. You make the call.
Yep.
Yeah, very close though.
Still 2 outs. Prairie Stars looking to strike, down by 3. Bannon 1 for 2 today. Step off the rubber. Got to be able to trust your defense here. The payoff pitch. Runners going. Got him swinging. Alan Toff.
What a celebration.
A 3-run lead still intact. Prairie Stars strand 3.
The NCAA would like to thank the official equipment supplier, Rollins I for their support of NCAA champions.
Prairie Stars had loaded the bases, all with 2 outs. Justin Allentoff comes through with the strikeout abandoned. He did receive a warning from the umpire, and there may have been a warning towards the other dugout as well. We rarely see anything come, though, of those warnings, but a slightly shorter leash. But you understand, high emotions in an elimination game. One of these two teams will see their season come to an end.
Yeah, a lot of adrenaline right there. But I mean, generally, you don't want to show up the other team in the middle innings of this game.
So Adams Torres, a sac fly today and a ground out, 0 for 1. As second inning, we see Gudaitis. Quinn Gudaitis came in last inning, got a double play to help him out after he walked the leadoff man. So he's faced the minimum 3 through an inning of work. Tight to Adam Torres on deck. Jesslyn Whitehead, 1 for 2 today. Nick Santucci in the hole, also 1 for 2 with a run scored. Cameron Meehan helped provide some insurance with the 2-run blast back in the 3rd inning, a couple of innings ago. As here we are in the home half of the 5th. Out towards center. Asher Brad coming in, able to make the catch. 1 away.
Yeah, I think probably some of the best times we've seen in this tournament so far have been pitchers getting out of situations. And that's what we've seen from Allentoff a couple of times, because that was such a key spot for him to get out of it.
Well, it was a bumpy inning. Needed a double play to help record the first 2 outs, but once you had those 2 outs, that 3rd out just didn't seem interested in rearing its head until bases were loaded. Here's Whitehead, your cleanup hitter. With 1 out, nobody on. Tars will appreciate any additional insurance they can get for their pitchers. And Jesslyn came into this week a .347 hitter. The freshman hoping to win a national championship with his brother. Gudaitis, the redshirt junior. As Quinn Gudaitis needs to be able to throw a strike here. And a green light for Jesslyn Whitehead, your cleanup hitter, as he finds it foul. Rollins had to go to St. Leo for the regional. Again, Sunshine State Conference does not have a conference tournament. Regular season champion gets the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. And battling back, Quinn Gudaitis. Rollins was able to sweep through that regional tournament without seeing St. Leo. They beat Delta State and then handed Lee University both of their losses before going to Tampa and denying the Spartans a return trip to Cary, North Carolina. Payoff pitch with 1 out. They'll do it again. And John Sjogren certainly knows the entire region well. Started his playing career at Florida Southern before becoming a Bryant Hall of Famer, and then later on the head coach for that Northeast 10 program. Northeast 10 represented this year by Southern New Hampshire for a 2nd straight season. The Penmen will be back in action tomorrow. As Pettigrew retires Whitehead 2 away.
The designated hitter, Nick Santucci.
Scouting reports are getting pretty good. I don't think Pettigrew had to budge there.
No, they were really good. We've seen that quite a bit where balls are hit right at fielders.
Here's Nick Santucci. With 2 outs, nobody on. I don't know if you remember this in Little League with young kids. If you tell somebody that they're playing second base, they'll go stand on second base. And, I mean, we laugh, but why wouldn't you?
Right.
Well, now it's getting pretty darn close to where that's actually where they're going to wind up being positioned.
Yeah. Do they have shifts in Little League too? They probably do.
At least for naps.
I think the scouting report on me would be that you'd have everybody playing in the infield. I wasn't too good at hitting it to the outfield when I was that age.
Everybody would be running their wardrobe by you.
Especially Nick Santucci. Now,
right on cue.
Yeah. Well, you made a good point in between innings.
Just leave it at that.
The kerchief. I mean, he could have dunked that into some cool water, and that's a way to stay cool.
If you live in a hot climate, long sleeves doesn't necessarily mean you're trying to stay warm, but it's that sun protection. It can keep you cooler. It's still baggy.
Right.
And the kerchief, yeah, you can dunk it in some cold water, drop your body temp a little bit. Don't know if you need that today here in Cary.
So none of this is a fashion statement. Even it could be an ankle brace he has on the right ankle. But the mustache, now there you go. I mean, that is a fashion statement, and that's cool.
Probably dunk the mustache in some cold water. Strikeout and a single today for Santucci, who scored on the home run from Meehan back in the 3rd. Just trying to extend this inning.
You know, when you're the DH here, you can stay a little cooler, I think, in that dugout. I mean, it's tougher when you're out. If you're standing out for a long inning out in the outfield or infield, I mean, it's bright sunshine. There's a little fatigue maybe that sets in the late innings.
2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 away. Quinn Gaditis trying to wrap up his 2nd inning in relief after coming on in the 4th. This one out of play. Mentioned Prairie Stars showed up to Cary already with a record number of wins for the program with 48. They're now 48-10 after the loss on Saturday. We already have one 50-win program this week. Angelo State is up to 51 wins now. And Tucci's been battling the 2-2. Got him. Quinn Gaditis quickly through the 5th gets the Prairie Stars back to the dugout where they can grab their bats once again in what is still, despite plenty of drama, just a 3-run ball game. Five innings in the books. And here the town of Cary, your co-hosts along with Mount Olive, a nearby Division II program, athletics department. Right now, dugout's being occupied by the D2 baseball programs of UIS and Rollins. Rollins back out on the diamond after going 3 up, 3 down. And only one starting pitcher left in this ball game, Justin Allentoff. I mean, you and I don't actually have any evidence that Rollins has any relief pitchers.
Yeah, their starters have gone all the way so far, which is great. I mean, that helps a lot. If you can get by this elimination game and keep going, you're going to need your pitching depth going forward. By the way, that second game, Lincoln, we always talk about that here. Whoever wins that game between Southern Arkansas and Point Loma has a really good advantage because they get 2 days off before they play again on Thursday. That really helps your pitching.
Go book a vacation somewhere. That helps get your pitching right where you want it. Here's Zion Pettigrew. A couple of flyouts, one to left, one to right. 0 for 2 today against Allentoff. UIS stranded bases loaded last inning. They had only had one hit all ball game. And over the past 2 innings now, have 4. I'm maybe giving them an extra hit somewhere in the mix. Nope, that's right. Scoreboard's just shortchanging them 1. So Pettigrew, Alderman, Youngquist. A combined 1 for 6 today. The 3 men due up to face your starter, Allentoff. And Allentoff, a 7-5 record this year. ERA has dipped down to 3.29 now for Justin. Last inning was the first time UIS got its leadoff hitter on. That was with the shortstop error, and of course the double play quickly erased that.
It's interesting. I was just going to say, it's interesting to see Pettigrew with this closed stance. You used to see that a lot in the 70s. And then you didn't see it for a long time. You don't see that many hitters that go closed. A lot of times they're open. They want to face the pitcher, but Pettigrew feels comfortable with the closed stance.
Able to get that bat over the plate. But Adams Torres, nothing he can't handle. 1 away.
Pettigrew really hasn't been able to get going. He's 1 for 8 in the tournament. Had a good double in the first game. But other than that, he really has been struggling.
Another look.
Chased a pitch that wasn't really in his wheelhouse.
Austin Alderman 1 for 2 today. Struck out in the first, singled in the fourth.
Oh, boy.
As Jared Herron is going to be given all the time he needs.
I'm not sure if that was a foul ball that came back and got him. I think it was. I think he got a little piece of it so that Herron got nailed on the deflection here. Yeah, it was, and it hit him right on the shin guard, but right on the knee part of that guard. Yeah. And I don't care if you have that on, it still hurts because it hit so hard. Thank goodness he did have the shin guards on. Shin and knee guards, I guess you could call it. But, thank goodness, because I don't think he'd stay in this game.
With that said, coming back from knee injuries after a couple weeks seems to be all the vogue from what we have seen this week.
Yeah, I mean, we saw John Michael Fail come back.
First pitch,
North Greenville.
First at bat, home run.
Home run, and he had knee surgery only about 2.5 weeks ago, we were told.
He returned yesterday, didn't start running until the day before.
That's amazing.
The 0-2 to Alderman. Alderman not helping him out.
Yeah, we've seen players playing banged up, guys who have had broken hands coming back earlier than they normally would.
Well, of course, for UIS, we already talked about how Barnard was coming back. Saw him on Saturday, but Bannon back at catcher today. 2 away.
Racking up the strikeouts here. 6 Ks now for Allentoff.
Biggest one was last inning with those bases loaded. Cal Youngquist, one of those strikeout victims. Austin Alderman, the first man that Justin Allentoff was able to double dip against. Youngquist strikeout and fly out to right today.
Allentoff had a 10 strikeout game earlier this season, back in February, against Embry-Riddle.
Three pitches, 3 strikes, as he fans a couple in the 6th and faces the minimum for the 3rd time through 6 frames. Justin Allentoff and the Rollins Tars, another chance to add to a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the 6th. When teams arrived earlier this week, they each got to raise their school flag. After 2 losses, though, that flag plummets.
One of those flags that you saw there is the flag of Illinois-Springfield. They're on the clock a little bit here. Down 3-0. Still, pretty close game. Long way to go.
Bottom of the 6th. Rollins can help themselves out if they can find some more insurance runs. This is a good option. Cameron Meehan. Last time we saw him back in the 3rd, it was a 1-0 ball game. A 1-out, 2-run blast that scored both Meehan and Santucci. See what he can do here leading off as he faces Quinn Goditis for a first time. 3rd inning of work now for Quinn.
There's not allowed any hits so far.
He relieves Cameron Zunkel, who went 3 full innings. Meehan 1 for 2 today, also with a line out to shortstop. We're not going to spend as much time talking this week about that.
Yeah, that home run, that was hit well. As you mentioned, generally you got to really hit it well to get it out of this ballpark. You don't come here swinging for the fences, I think.
Well, and when that building goes up, it'll be interesting how that affects the dynamics.
Yeah.
Nobody asked us. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Meehan leading off out of the 6th spot. Coleman on deck, Smith in the hole. This part of the lineup, 1 for 6, but it was a big one, as Meehan just gets a piece of that. And both these teams had yesterday to just come out here and practice, as 4 other teams were beginning their journeys here in Cary. Again, the 2-2 to Meehan. Got him. Second strikeout in relief for Quinn Goditis. He's doing everything he can to keep the bats of the Tars at bay and give UIS a chance for a comeback.
He's got great stuff. So I think the Tars have their hands full trying to add to their lead.
Senior Mason Kuhn in the bullpen, but no concern just yet for Goditis, who just struck out the man who went deep back in the 3rd inning. Here's Ryan Coleman. Twice has grounded out towards the first baseman. One and 1. Coleman out of Tampa, 30-year sophomore, 5 home runs, 25 RBI coming into this week. Fouls that one off himself.
I was just thinking about what John Sjogren, the head coach of Rollins, was telling us, and right now Coleman, I think he fouled that off his foot. But Sjogren was saying that he wanted his team to treat this like a business trip. Let's see where that hit him. Came up, I think, and hit him. Could have been worse. But he wanted him to treat it like it was a business trip and not get too excited. But their pitcher, Allen Toff, he certainly has been excited in this one. And you can't help but get a little extra energy when you're playing in an elimination game like this.
Well, of all the teams to sweep their region, it was Rollins who swept through the South. That loss on Saturday, their first postseason loss this year.
They were an unlikely team to get here because, in their conference, the Sunshine State Conference, they finished 4th behind Tampa, Florida Southern, and St. Leo. But here they are.
Yeah, St. Leo hosted the regional, but again, they never crossed paths with St. Leo.
And Rollins just played well at the right time.
The 2-2. Line out. to Meyerhofer, 2 away.
Meanwhile, Goditis definitely giving his team a great chance by retiring 7 straight batters now.
Well, UIS had those bases loaded in the 5th inning. Could not bring a run home. They have stranded 5 today.
And 11 the other day. So they've left 16 on base in 2 games.
Parker Smith 0 for 2 today. Pop out and ground out. And a first pitch strike from all business Quinn Goditis. He'd like to avoid probably seeing Jared Herron, who has been the bright spot in the bottom third of this order with a double and a walk today. Parker Smith will try to extend this inning. Either a future Tar or Prairie Star.
That kid was not enjoying himself right there, or herself.
A strikeout and a line out so far. 2 out, nobody on. As Smith not chasing. Count 2-2. Got him looking. 3rd strikeout for Goditis. 3rd straight frame in relief. He has faced the minimum. He has faced all 9 Rollins hitters, none of whom have been able to add insurance under his watch. It's still just a 3-run deficit for UIS.
Senior Justin Allentoff has come up big for Rollins in this game. He has been able to whiff 7 Illinois-Springfield batters. He has not walked anybody, and he's pitching a 5-hit shutout, and he's pretty psyched about it as we go to the 7th inning here in Cary. Man, is he pumped.
Well, again, starting pitching coming through again for Rollins, just as it did even in that loss the other day.
And they have not gone to their bullpen. They don't intend to anytime soon the way things are going. 3-0 Rollins. Vanneman leading it off. He fouls it back for Illinois-Springfield as they're down to their final 9 outs to try to stay alive here in this elimination game. Vanneman 0 for 2, fly to right. Reached on an error by the shortstop in the 5th to be a leadoff man on, but got erased on a double play grounder by DeCancillas, who's on deck. 0-2. If you don't score some runs early on in this tournament, it just feels like it just goes by very fast. And you could be 2 and done.
I'm not convinced we've seen any runs scored in any of these ball games around the 4th and 5th innings. It has started to really settle down. Even some games where we assumed we'd have just a shootout. All of a sudden, after those first couple of innings, everything calms down.
Well, for Illinois-Springfield, they're looking for some extra base power because they only have 5 hits. They're all singles in this game. 2-2 the count. They did a lot more hitting in the first game, but they left 11 men on base. 2-2 fouled back. It remains 2-2. Well, they just haven't had many chances today against Allentoff, and when he has had trouble, been able to get out of it, get that strikeout of Alderman in the 1st, left a man on, and left the bases loaded in the 5th. He had the double play ball. After that, he gave up 3 consecutive singles, but struck out Bannon to end that inning. That was the celebration you saw. It's fouled out of play.
Yeah, that 5th inning was the bumpiest ride, and then worked the perfect 6th. Right about the 85th pitch now of his start.
Vanneman takes strike 3 called. That's 3 strikeouts in a row for Allentoff, 8 in the game.
That matches the All-American teammate Jalen Whitehead's 8 strikeouts against Southern Arkansas on Saturday. Difference is Justin Allentoff has a lead to defend.
He has K'd 4 of the last 5 batters. Here is Anthony DeConcilis, 0 for 2, flying to center and bounced into a 4-6-3 double play. Illinois-Springfield, they only have 1 extra base hit in the 2 games here so far. They had 10 hits in the first game, and only 1 was for extra bases, a double by Pettigrew. That's been it. No extra base hits in this one. That's skied by DeConcilis. Shortstop Acuff under it. 2 down. 6 in a row retired by Allentoff.
We've had so many of those shots straight up into the air with that sun to contend with. But for the most part, we take for granted that these young men are able to track that ball down, and they have.
Bright sunshine most of the day here today. Here's Hunter Phelps, 1 for 2, a single. Again, this is a team in the Prairie Stars that averages over 10 runs a game. It's hard to believe because they haven't been able to get their offense going. They came in tied for 5th in the nation in scoring. Check swing. There's a strike with the breaking ball. 1-1. Good mix of pitches by Allentoff today.
And UIS has been to just 1 other super regional before this year. That was back in 2019.
12th year of the program for Illinois-Springfield.
Yeah, they've just been in Division II as an athletics department for 13 years after coming over from NAIA. Well, Joe, we figured there was a pretty good chance we'd see at least 1 Grand Slam from UIS this week. Set the D2 record this year with 10, breaking their old mark of 9. They had those 9 Grand Slams in 2020, which was a season with 14 games.
Well, they could use one at some point coming up soon. They need base runners first.
Yeah, they were poised for one, possibly. A few innings back.
Allentoff has been tough. 2 down, nobody on. The 2-2 to Phelps. Hit in the air, right field. Long run here for Smith. Is he going to get there? Dives. Can't get it. Fair ball. There's an extra base hit for Phelps. He'll stop at second. Only the 2nd extra base hit of this tournament, and the first today for Illinois-Springfield, and we'll see if that gets them going.
Well, unfortunately, that ball's hit high enough. It's an easy decision for Smith to go ahead and lay out for it because it is not going to carry far away from him if he doesn't catch it.
He was on the dead run right there.
Full extension, can't get there. That ball's going to die down. And regardless, just be a double for Phelps.
So that's a little fly ball double. Now we got a pinch runner at second base. That'll be Braden Gorecki. And now we're going to have a conference at the mound. There's no action in the bullpen, although they're starting to move around a little bit. And somebody has a baseball, and they are going to get some action now in the pen as a right-hander, Austin Long, will begin to throw for Rollins. So Coach John Sjogren starting to have the wheels turn here a little bit.
Yeah, Patrick Zerba, his pitching coach.
There's 97 pitches for Allentoff in the game.
That's the first extra base hit on the day for the Prairie Stars off of Allentoff. Mentioned Phelps, the DH, now out of the ball game with Gorecki in to run for him. You know, the benefit of those insurance runs back in the 3rd inning when Meehan hit his home run. So you see Austin Long warming up, former Indiana Hoosier. But Allentoff again, 3-run lead. Just the one base runner in scoring position.
And he'll go up against a number 9 hitter in Nick Meyerhofer, 1 for 2, a single. Even though he's a number 9 man, he's hitting .327 on the year. Runner at second, Gurecki, as Illinois-Springfield tries to make something happen here in the 7th, down 3-0. First pitch to Meyerhofer. Breaking ball in there for a called strike, 0-1.
Third inning, the Prairie Stars have had a runner in scoring position. They've stranded a total of 5 today.
Allentoff checks second. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Waved at the breaking ball. Allentoff has had really good breaking stuff today. Looking for strikeout number 9. Oh, 2 to Meyerhofer. Rip towards shortstop. Acuff has a nice easy bounce. Throws out his shortstop counterpart Meyerhofer. The inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. It's now 6 left on base for Illinois-Springfield. 7th inning stretch here in Cary, North Carolina. Our first elimination game. And Rollins in control, leading 3-0 over Illinois-Springfield. Side Lincoln Rose, I'm Joe Castellano as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Jared Herron to lead it off for Rollins. They have a 3-0 lead on Illinois-Springfield. Quinn Goditis has done a great job in relief today. Liner to second, caught by Pettigrew. That was a bullet off the bat of Herron, but Pettigrew was positioned perfectly.
Again,
1 pitch, 1 out.
Herron had doubled and walked today. In fact, Goditis had walked him to lead off that 4th inning before a double play. So Goditis has now officially retired every batter in this lineup.
He's retired 9 in a row, faced the minimum since he came in the 4th inning. That's just 1 walk on his record, but no hits allowed. 1-0 to the leadoff hitter, Joey Rubin. 2 for 3, 2 singles, and he lined into a double play. Well, he is 3 for 7 in this tournament. Pretty good showing so far for the freshman Rubin. 1-1. Rubin has been playing with a partially torn labrum in his left shoulder. You'd never know it by watching him. I mean, but you can imagine that probably has some pain from time to time when he swings the bat. They were going to redshirt Rubin, but the team got off to a slow start, and they decided, let's just keep him in the lineup if he can handle it. And he has. Goditis deals, and that's low, 3-1.
I mean, as if your freshman year transitioning to college is not hard enough.
Playing through pain.
And you're going to be the leadoff guy.
Yeah. (3-1) to Rubin. In there for a strike. He'll be followed by Chase Acuff. Illinois-Springfield has the top of the order due up in the 8th inning as they'll try to come back. Rollins trying to add to its lead. You never feel comfortable with your lead anyway, and this is not a big lead. It remains 3-2 to Rubin. Pretty intense right now for Illinois-Springfield. Playing for their D2 championship lives. Goditis ready again for the payoff pitch to Rubin. Hit in the air, playable in left center field. Brad, the center fielder, calling off the shortstop, Meyerhofer, and he's got it for out number 2.
Well, Quinn Goditis just continues to set up his defense to help him out. Again, has retired the first 2 men, looking for another 3 up, 3 down to try to get their bats back to the plate where Prairie Stars are down to their final 6 outs. As Asher Brad patrolling center field. Able to easily get under that one.
Now the 6'7" right-hander Gudaitis faces Acuff, who takes a strike 0-1. Acuff definitely feeling fortunate. He made an error at shortstop in the 5th that did not cost Rollins. There was a double play ball right after that, and that makes you feel a lot better because, man, you make an error and some runs score, it could cause a sleepless night in an elimination game. 2 down, nobody on. That's way outside. 2-1 to Acuff.
I think Illinois Wesleyan's in the CCIW there in Division III. I mean, can you just imagine facing Quinn Gudaitis in Division III, the 6'7" pitcher on the mound?
Yeah, with the kind of stuff that he's bringing. I mentioned earlier that he can get his fastball up to 96, although I don't think we've seen that today. Fouled out of play right side. 2-2 now to Acuff as Gudaitis tries to come up with another 1-2-3 inning. He's retired 10 in a row.
Well, he's your longest tenured pitcher in this ball game for the Prairie Stars. Your starter goes 3 innings. He's now gone 3 2/3.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Acuff. Look out. Nowhere to go on that one. So Acuff hit by a pitch for the 2nd time in the game. And he's on at first base. That snaps 10 in a row, retired by Gudaitis.
Yeah, the only man to reach against Gudaitis was the very first batter he faced, Heron, with that walk. So 2nd free pass. We call it a free pass, but you pay for it.
I think the first one, he just had it glance off his jersey. That one was more painful. Here's Adams Torres, who was 0 for 2. He had a sac fly in the 1st inning for his 49th RBI of the season. He's also grounded out to short and flied to center. Torres takes a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. 3 runs, 8 hits, and an error for Rollins. No runs, 6 hits, and no errors for Illinois-Springfield.
Well, UIS with 6 outs remaining, perhaps on their season, will have the top of their order coming up.
Very short lead at first for Acuff. Not going. It's fouled back. 0-2. Yeah, it's going to be Brad, Bannon, and Pettigrew to try to get something going for the Prairie Stars in the 8th. Illinois-Springfield, the number 7 seed from the Midwest region, facing the number 6 seed Rollins here from the South region. Loser goes home. Winner stays on and plays in a couple of days on Wednesday. We'll play the loser of the Southern Arkansas Point Loma game tonight. That's at 6 o'clock Eastern time. So the next game for the winner of this one would be Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. As you try to go through the losers bracket and get to the championship, which we saw last year with Wingate as they won it all. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gudaitis comes through again. He celebrates a little bit as he gets his 4th strikeout and has not allowed a base hit since he came in the 4th. Hasn't allowed a run. And at the end of 7, Rollins 3, Illinois-Springfield nothing in the elimination game here in Cary, North Carolina. Austin Long comes out of the bullpen for Rollins after the starter Justin Allentoff was terrific for 7 innings. Scoreless baseball, gave up 6 hits, didn't walk anybody, and struck out 8. So now we see Long.
I want to point out, he's wearing the same hat as his teammates.
Doesn't look like it, though. Those are blue. That one's faded. Or is it just a different cap?
Well, he does have a snap. Well, that might be just a sizing issue, but does have a snap in the back.
So you think that's a different cap, or
well,
is that a
no,
fade?
I'm saying it used to be the same color, but
Okay.
clearly it's not a fitted hat.
Okay.
He may have had to go to the school bookstore for that one.
Okay. Well, he's a senior. He's got some pull. He could get a cap whenever he wants. The Indiana transfer from Bedford, Indiana.
No reason to keep the receipt for that one, though.
No. 3-3 record, 2.48 ERA, and he drills his first batter, Asher Brad. So Illinois-Springfield looking for base runners, and they get one right away on the first pitch.
That is a rough way to start.
6th hit batsman of the year for Long, and he's had control issues as he has walked 25 in 69 innings. Struck out just 33. It's almost as many walks as strikeouts for the right-hander, but the 2.48 ERA is excellent. It's his 32nd appearance, his 29th in relief. That's a ball to Brandon Bannon, 1-0.
Second time today that the Prairie Stars have been able to get their leadoff man on. It was an error back in the 5th. Of course, they would load the bases that inning, but score none.
Down 3-0. They've only scored 1 run in this tournament so far in 16 innings. Fastball high, 2-0.
It's after they beat Quincy 10-4 and 10-8 in those final 2 games last Saturday.
Long is the closer for Rollins. Throws 88-90 with his fastball, a slider, and a changeup. And there's a strike. Long has 9 saves this season, so hoping to get a 10th to keep his team alive in this tournament.
You know who's second on the team in saves? Guy over there playing shortstop, Chase Acuff.
Yeah, he's got 6 of them. High and tight, so Long is all over the place. 3-1 to count to Bannon. That's not what you want to see from your closer. And there's another pitcher throwing in the Rollins bullpen just in case. Runner at first, nobody out. Throw to first, back in safe is Brad. Now, Brad is a great base stealer, 22 out of 22, but it's doubtful that he would be running. When you're down 3-0, I don't think you want to take a chance of trying to steal second base, down 3-0 in the 8th inning anyway. Edging off for a decent lead. 3-1 to Bannon. Strike called, snap throw to first. Back safe is Brad. He cannot afford to get thrown out over there and get picked off. 3-2 now.
This is a big pitch coming up for Austin Long after the free pass to Asher Brad a moment ago. Are the Prairie Stars about to bring the tying run to the plate with nobody out?
Long likes the sign from Heron. Runner goes, 3-2, popped up. Foul territory, first base side for Whitehead. Got it. 1 out.
That helps you breathe a little easier for Rollins. Whitehead even a little kiss to the sky.
Another senior is throwing in the bullpen, Tate Stone Fresina, a right-hander in the pen for Rollins. And here is Zion Pettigrew, 0 for 3 today, 1 for 8 in the tournament. Today he's flied to left, flied to right, and grounded to second. A runner at first, 1 out, down 3-0. Hit in the air, deep left field. Coleman going back, way back, and it is gone! Zion Pettigrew, his 28th home run of the season, gets Illinois-Springfield on the board, and they have life, down by 1.
Just his second hit of the week. He was 0 for 3 today. Zion Pettigrew. The Zion Pettigrew that the Prairie Stars fans have come to know comes through here late to pull it within 1.
Gets the fur coat treatment, and he knew that was gone. He watched it. The 2-run homer gives him 95 RBIs to lead the nation, and it came at a great time to put his team within 1 here in the 8th inning as Alderman takes a strike.
So finally, there's the answer for the 2-run home run of Cameron Meehan back in the 3rd inning, but Rollins still with a lead.
110th home run for Illinois-Springfield this year, 7th in the country. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Give Long credit. He recovered right after that home run, gets his first strikeout, 2 down. Alderman goes down on 3 pitches.
First baseman Cal Youngquist.
Now Cal Youngquist 0 for 3, struck out twice in this game and is fly to right. Illinois-Springfield 1 swing away from tying this game, and Youngquist certainly has the power. He has 13 homers this year. They're playing him pretty deep in the outfield, especially in right with Parker Smith. Ground ball hit hard, but right at the shortstop, Acuff, and he throws out Youngquist to retire the side. But 2 runs to give the Prairie Stars life. A 2-run bomb off the bat of Zion Pettigrew, one of the best players in D2, showing off his talent. 3-2 Rollins going to the bottom of the 8th. Well, since Quinn Goditis came into this game, he has been dominating as a relief pitcher. Came in the 4th inning, has struck out 4, has not allowed much on the mound. Had a walk allowed in the 4th inning and a hit by pitch in the 7th. No runs and no hits after he replaced Zunkel. So he's kept his team in the game, and that man hit a 2-run homer. That's Zion Pettigrew to get Illinois-Springfield within 1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, Goditis has faced just 1 more than the minimum through those first 4 innings in relief.
Here's Jesselyn Whitehead to lead it off, takes the ball 1-0. So the Tars, their offense has been shut down since they scored on a 2-run homer by Meehan in the 3rd inning. They scored in the 1st and the 3rd, led 3-0 all the way until that home run was hit in the top of this 8th inning by Pettigrew. Here in our first elimination game of the tournament, Rollins will try to add to its just 1-run lead now. Whitehead, Santucci, and Meehan here in the 8th against Goditis. Swing and a miss. 1-2 to Whitehead. A single, a ground out, and a line out for Whitehead. 1 for 7 in the tournament. Goditis working out of the stretch even though nobody's on. Little check swing looper into right. That's a base hit. Sometimes it may not look pretty, but you get a base hit out of it. And Whitehead 2 for 4 today with the leadoff single there. First hit allowed by Goditis. And he's probably pretty annoyed about it.
Designated hitter, Nick Santucci.
Just goes with it. A little blooper out to right. And they are going to make a pitching change.
So Goditis, who had been so effective out of the bullpen and throwing 65 pitches since he came in, he will leave. Got a left-hander coming out of the bullpen, Mason Kuhn, with a left-handed batter coming up in Santucci. We'll step aside. 3-2, Rollins leading, trying to add to it in the bottom of the 8th here at the Division II Baseball Championship. Mason Kuhn out of the bullpen for Illinois-Springfield. He is quite a strikeout pitcher. In his career, 14.6 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's the career-leading mark for any pitcher at Illinois-Springfield. He throws 88 to 91 with his fastball, and he's in there as a lefty, going to face a lefty in Nick Santucci here to try to slow down Rollins after that leadoff single. And Kuhn 2-0, 4.75 ERA, giving up 31 hits and 30 in a 3rd innings, 11 walks, 48 strikeouts this year.
Yeah, those 48 strikeouts in 30 innings right up there with his career numbers that you mentioned.
And lots of
21st appearance, all in relief.
Lots of experience on the mound. We've seen all these seniors, and he's a senior too, and a St. Joseph, Illinois, 6'3", 225.
You're going to have to pick a favorite mustache here, Joe. We got Kuhn and Santucci. Got to go head-to-head or face-to-face.
Senior against grad student Santucci, who was 1 for 3 today, a single and a run scored, and he has K'd twice. We'll see how he handles the lefty.
Must be a little less sun in Springfield. Those ball caps are holding up a little better.
Whitehead is at first base with nobody out. 3-2 Rollins here in the bottom of the 8th. So Kuhn makes his first appearance of the D2 championship. Bluff to bunt, and the pitch is outside. The appeal down to third base umpire Adam Burke says he did not offer 1-0. And it might make sense here that you'd bunt because the lefty-lefty matchup could be tough, and you can get a man in the scoring position with 1 out.
I think getting just even 1 run they believe is critical.
And this matchup, is probably not favoring Santucci as he takes a ball 2-0. And some pitchers don't react well when they have a batter squaring around. They stop throwing strikes. On deck, a right-handed batter in Meehan. There is more action in the bullpen for Illinois-Springfield. They do have a right-hander throwing. 3-0. And you wonder if Coach Copeland goes to that right-hander right there out of the pen in Ian Delleman. Does he go to him for the next batter? Santucci with a 3-0 count. Showed bunt again, and he walks on 4 pitches. Wow. That is the worst thing that could happen for Kuhn right there. So now 2 on and nobody out after a 4-pitch walk. And he is going to stay out there by all indication right now as Cameron Meehan will come up 1 for 3, a 2-run homer in the 3rd, his 12th of the year.
Well, you just got all the benefits of a sacrifice bunt without having to give up an out. That runner moves to second. You happen to have a second runner as well now behind him. Would Meehan consider bunting?
Swinging away, and he takes a strike, 0-1. So Delleman was getting loose in the pen, but they don't go to him here. Another left-handed batter on deck in Ryan Coleman. And then after that, it's a bunch of righties. There's only 2 lefties in this lineup for Rollins. Meehan behind 0-1, Bluff to second. You got Whitehead at second, Santucci at first, and nobody out. And after Illinois-Springfield was battling all day to try to get this to be a 1-run game, they get that 2-run homer. Boy, that would really be deflating if they gave up any runs here. Meehan takes a breaking ball for a called strike, 0-2, and Kuhn looks a lot better against this right-handed batter, throwing strikes and one that's not squaring around the bunt. He just couldn't throw strikes to Santucci. Kuhn checks second a couple of times. The 0-2, way high, 1-2. Kuhn, I mentioned the fastball 88-91. Also throws good slider. Throws that slider quite a bit. There's a bouncing ball to third. This could be 2. DeCancillas going to throw to first. Safe. Everybody's safe. Well, he tried to make a tag there, missed that. Didn't have a play at second. By the time he threw to first, he got nobody.
Yeah, hoping for 2, got none. Another look.
I mean, generally, you throw this ball to second base, but he had the runner right there, so he thought, I'll try to tag him, but he missed. It was fairly close, but by the time he did all that, then he doesn't have the chance to go to second, and by the time he throws to first, he doesn't get him either.
Now, the umpires are going to come together, and I imagine the only thing to talk about is coming out of the base path.
Well, they could also talk about whether or not that tag was made, but it was clear to us that he did not make the tag. But you're right. I mean, maybe he's out of the baseline, but I didn't think so.
No. They're just coming together. I don't believe we saw a gesture for an actual request for review.
I mean, that has to be pretty obvious. Let's take a look. The runner is Whitehead. Well, I mean, just taking an overall look at that.
They are going to go to review.
Yeah, you know, Lincoln, taking an overall look at that again, he is pretty far over. It's not like he was going on a straight line towards third. So I could see this getting changed to being out of the baseline. That would be an out. What do you think?
Well, I think our umpires are going to tell us what to think here in a moment. They do not look at the video themselves. It is a chief of officials upstairs that has access to all these angles. We have not confirmed this is what they're looking at. This is just what you and I, based on watching a lot of baseball over the years, are assuming they're looking at, although they have requested this angle.
I mean, Deacon Silas, you can't blame him for wanting to make that tag. The runner's right there. I mean, you could try to go around the horn for the double play, but he tried to make the tag, and he just missed him. But at that point, he's pretty far away from going straight line from second to third. It's really a tough judgment call. I mean, you can go out a little bit. You don't have to go a direct line from second to third, but there's that judgment call.
Here's the thing. If they're looking for the tag, they're not going to see anything there to conclusively overturn it. Now, if they're talking about in or out of the base path,
right,
then maybe you have a chance still of seeing this overturned. But right now we're just the cliche announcer speculating.
Yeah, to me, clearly the tag wasn't made. That's clear 100%. But as far as going out of the baseline, that's up for grabs. And this is really the first one that's very tough, and it's in a key spot here, because if you can get that out, makes a huge difference as opposed to being bases loaded, nobody out.
Yeah, right now bases loaded, nobody out is the status quo, and they're going to have to see something that's conclusive to overturn it.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to feel for the umpires here, because this is a high-pressure call.
I don't feel for them. They don't have to make the call.
But just the whole
it's being relayed
umpiring
to them.
group. That's what I'm talking about.
They've done a great job. They deserve to be here.
But if you're the one overturning that, that'd be tough, right? I mean,
unless they see something that their training says is by definition out of the base path, I don't think they have anything to overturn.
Well, to me, it was getting to the point where he might have been out of the baseline. When I first saw it, when I saw it live, I thought it was fine, and he just, you know, I really thought Deacon Silas was just going to throw to second, fire it over there, and get a double play. But by the time he tried to make the tag, and again, I can't blame him because the runner was right there, then he doesn't get the runner at second because it's too late. He doesn't have that, so he throws to first, and then it's too late there. He doesn't get anybody. It was really tough.
You notice that's Austin Long, who's already in the ballgame over in the bullpen, just staying loose during all of this. Or when he has to come back on next inning, he hopes with some insurance.
Yeah, it's turning into a long time waiting to find out what the decision is here. And
again,
you look at it a lot of times, basically.
Again, they can be looking at the tag. They can be looking at the base path. We're about to be told final outcome here, and bases loaded, nobody out.
No tag, and Whitehead was okay in the baseline there.
And it's not just upheld, it is confirmed. They visually saw what they expected to see.
So, bases loaded. Whitehead at third, Santucci at second, Meehan at first, and Ryan Coleman coming up. Wait a minute, we're going to have a pinch hitter. Pinch hitter for Coleman. It's going to be Kyle Bullock coming up here. So Kyle Bullock is how they're pronouncing it. 232 batting average, 3 homers and 10 RBIs. They'll send up a right-handed batter to bat for the left-handed hitting Coleman against the left-handed pitcher. So Bullock up there with the bases loaded, nobody out. And you're so desperate to add to the one-run lead. I mean, you definitely want to hit a ball to the outfield, but I wouldn't put it past them to put on a squeeze play.
But boy, You get a little modest base hit and you blow this game wide open with the way the infield is sucked in right now.
Yep, they're in. Curveball for a called strike, 0-1. This is a strikeout situation right here for Kuhn.
I mean, just about everybody has their toes on the infield grass.
There's another breaking ball for a strike, 0-2. That backdoor curveball by Kuhn has been effective against the right-handers.
Well, remember, he was just out there having to stand around and wait.
Actually, slider, not curveball, but yeah, he was waiting. Parker Smith is on deck to follow Bullock, I guess is how they're saying it. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Bullock is out on strikes. That's a big out, number 1. The pinch hitting move did not work out. Now Parker Smith, 0 for 3. Popped to short, grounded to the pitcher, struck out. 0 for 5 in the tournament. And this is where Illinois-Springfield hopes to get a double play if a ball's hit right on an infielder. They keep that infield in.
It's a one-run game. I get that you really want to keep it a one-run game, but you can still come back from a 2-run deficit. But a base hit here, that's what's going to blow it wide open.
Well, now they're moving the middle infielders back about halfway, which makes sense because if a ball's hit pretty hard to one of those middle infielders, they could try to turn 2, going to second base, rather than trying to come home, which is a tougher way to turn a double play. Swing and a miss. Another breaking ball by Kuhn. He is ripping off these sliders one after another and really doing a great job against the right-handed batters.
But even the way they are, I think it's going to be tough to convince any of these guys not to throw home for that force.
0-1 to Smith, the number 8 hitter. And that misses inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kuhn came in and had a walk, and then that fielder's choice play that loaded the bases 1 out, and then he gets a strikeout. Well, he'd love to get another strikeout here and just feel a lot more comfortable with his infield being able to go back. The 1-1. Curveball. That's a called strike. Well, you know, we were told he throws a slider, but that's a slower breaking ball. It's more like a curve. And now he has a chance to strike out 2 batters in a row. Kuhn knows that if he can get out of this without any damage, his team could have a good chance to come back in the 9th inning. But a base hit will be deflating. The 1-2. Strike 3 called. The breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. 2 down. 2 strikeouts in a row for Kuhn against right-handed batters.
Rollins loaded the bases back in the 2nd and stranded 3 runners. Scoreless that inning. And history on the verge of maybe repeating itself. Certainly the Prairie Stars hope so.
The catcher, Jared Herron.
As Kuhn has come in, has faced 4. Walked 1, a fielder's choice, and now back-to-back strikeouts.
Jared Herron will climb in. Bases still loaded, 2 down. A double, a liner to second, 1 for 2 with a walk. Can Kuhn get out of this unscathed? There's the breaking ball outside, 1-0.
Well, obviously the second out's a huge out, but it does now allow your defense to go back, standard depth.
Yeah.
And now the chances of a routine ball all of a sudden breaking this game open have, for the most part, evaporated.
One-0 to Herron is in there for a strike, 1-1. We saw Gudaitis pitch so well for 4 innings. And now Kuhn trying to escape this situation with bases loaded. You have to really tip your cap to the bullpen for Illinois-Springfield if he gets out of this. The 1-1. In there for a called strike on the breaking ball, 1-2. And these right-handed batters, they're not swinging at that pitch. They think it's a ball, but it's dropping right in for a strike.
Well, he's just seen 2 of his teammates strike out, 1 swinging, 1 looking, and you wonder if Jared Herron is going to offer his bat at anything close here. Rollins has not been able to bring an insurance run home after loading the bases before there were any outs.
1-2 to Heron. Ooh, that just missed a little bit outside. 2-2.
That's the least stressed the Prairie Stars fans have been. They're enjoying this pitching performance from Mason Kuhn.
He's throwing those backdoor breaking balls that are dropping in for strikes. Didn't miss by much there. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Heron. Runners leading all around. Break even pitch, grounded weakly towards second base, and Pettigrew. Easy play over to first. What a job by Kuhn. Gets out of a bases loaded, nobody out situation with 2 strikeouts and then a little grounder. We go to the 9th, last chance for Illinois-Springfield, facing elimination with 6, 7, and 8 in the order coming up on NCAA.com. What a job by Mason Kuhn to keep his team in this game. The bases loaded and nobody out. Gets 2 strikeouts and a ground out. And now his team will try to come from behind down 3-2 against Rollins in this elimination game, our first of the tournament. It'll be Brant Vanneman, Anthony DeConcilis, and then the DH spot, which was filled by a pinch runner, Gorecki. We'll see who bats there as they go up against Austin Long. Long came on in relief in the 8th inning, gave up a 2-run homer to Pettigrew. We'll see what he does here as he tries to get the save.
Yeah, we mentioned last half inning, Austin Long spent some of that half inning in the bullpen just to stay loose. It was such a long inning. Bases loaded with nobody out. The next 3 batters retired, plus you had that review. How does that affect Long?
Here is Brant Vanneman, 0 for 3, fly to right, reached on an error by the shortstop, struck out, facing Long. Look out, high and tight. Well, Long started his outing in the 8th by hitting a batter, and that turned into a run on a 2-run homer by Pettigrew. So he's been a little bit all over the place. Vanneman pops it up foul behind the plate, and it drops back out of play. Vanneman, a .322 hitter, and DeConcilis on deck, .367 on the year coming in. By the way, new right fielder for Rollins. We'll check on him after there was a pinch hitting move. I think the outfield actually has changed. We have 1 new outfielder. We'll check on that in a second. Apparently it's Healy in right field, but we got to see who's in left and center, or at least in left, because Coleman's out of the game, fouled back out of play, 1-2. Not sure who's in left. Well, looks like Meehan is in left. Vanneman takes strike 3 called. Breaking ball on the inside part of the plate. Second strikeout for Long, 1 away.
And that reduces the comeback window now down to 2 outs to work with.
Here's Anthony DeConcilis. 0 for 3, flying to center, grounded into a double play, popped to short. Rips one towards short at Acuff. Easy play for him, you would think, but he throws a 1-hopper, dug out of there by Whitehead. 2 down, and now Illinois-Springfield down to its final out.
Well, this is a spot where you wish you still had Hunter Phelps. Remember, he had a single and a double in this ball game. They ran for him with Gorecki. It did not lead to a run.
And now it's going to be Richie Snyder. No. Actually, it's Gorecki. Gorecki at the plate, skies one in the left field corner. Meehan coming over, got a play on it. He's got it, and the ball game is over. So Gorecki flies out. Illinois-Springfield eliminated. Rollins stays alive with a 3-2 win over the Prairie Stars, who go home after such a great season. Illinois-Springfield in its first trip to the Division II championship, and they just didn't have enough offense the way they did throughout the regular season. Illinois-Springfield losing its first game to Point Loma, and now the flag goes down as they lose their second game to Rollins.
We started with 8 teams, 8 flags, and with 2 losses in 2 games. What a remarkable year for UIS. The Prairie Stars program record 48 wins, just 11 losses, but those last 2 coming here in Cary in their first 2 games.
So a little bit of a scare there for Rollins. The 2-run homer by Pettigrew. Rollins couldn't add to their lead, but in the end, Long did a great job after he gave up that home run in the 8th. Give him credit. He recovered, struck out a batter, got a batter to ground out in the 8th, and then a 1-2-3 ninth inning to collect the save, saving it for Allentoff, who went 7 scoreless innings as the starter and gets the victory for Rollins today. Coming up at 6 o'clock Eastern time, our second game. 2 teams that have won, and they will battle to see who's going to get 2 days off. The winner of that game will take the 2 days off and play again on Thursday. The loser of the Southern Arkansas Point Loma game will play against Rollins on Wednesday at 1:30, and that'll be an elimination game. So congratulations to the Rollins Tars. They hang on for the 1-run victory over Illinois-Springfield. For Lincoln Rose and our entire crew, I'm Joe Castellano, inviting you to take a watch at us again in a few hours here on NCAA.com.